Fela and Kuti used music to fight bad leadership in Africa. And he believes that that is how music should be used as a weapon in Africa.
Yes, if you are in England, music can be an instrument of enjoyment. So you can sing about love, you can sing about whom you're going to bed with next. But in my own environment, my society is underdeveloping because of an alien system on our people now. So there's no music for enjoyment. There's nothing like love. There's something like a struggle for people's existence. So, as an artist, politically, artistically, the whole idea about your environment must be represented in the music, in the arts. So really, art is what is happening at a particular time of a people's development or underdevelopment, see. So I think as far as Africa is concerned, music cannot be for enjoyment. Music has to be for revolution. Really working with the people, enlightening the people, and doing your duty as a citizen. Play music and act, and do something about the system. If you feel bad about it, do something about it. I see Africans today, what we do, what we'll do is just we suffer, we smile, you know. Every African man smiles. How are you? You see, we smile because we are good people, probably, but you see, people don't have to smile in a bad condition. That is making the matters worse. That is going into slavery. You see, because our condition is not a condition of smiling. So I write a tune called Suffering and Smiling, you see. And it's doing very well. As a matter of fact, I think it's my biggest hit now, for years. It attacks the religion, you know. It uses this religious thing to go and attack the ills of our society, to see why the things happen, why the police brutality, army oppression, you see.
He famously noted that his education days in England made him understand the best way to be African. He narrated the level of racial abuse in England, which was part of the things that made him love Africa more and start fighting for the good of Africa.
Everything was European background. The upbringing, the teaching in school. Well, my father was a pastor, you know, a pastor. And everything had to be English and everything. We were not even allowed to speak our country's language in schools, and they called our own languages vernacular. So English was the real language you had to speak in school. So everything was English. With what we were taught in schools, nobody was thinking of whether to be African or not. We just accepted that we were English, and anybody that went to England for studies was a master, you know. So everybody wanted to go to England, come back home to be master, you know. So I never thought about it, being African as such, you know. So it didn't mean anything to me until much later in my life. It was in England I started to feel the awareness of having to be an African, because for the first time I came to England, I started to feel, oh wow. So these white people don't like us too much. You know, this is my experience from having to rent rooms, you know. I had so much, at that time you read the newspapers in England, house for rent, no coloreds, no dogs, and all this. That annoyed me a lot, and annoyed many students, you know. So at my student days in England, I started to be aware of having to be an African. But we had nothing to offer as Africans because we were all just taught English. Like one of the latest songs I'm singing now, I said, teacher, don't teach me nonsense, right? Now I was trying to let my people see, because in Africa people respect teachers. You know, teachers because they teach English and they teach their pupils, you know. Respect teachers and pastors, you know, in Africa. So, okay, now I saw that I should not use teacher as my focus. So I said, I titled the song, Teacher Don't Teach Me Nonsense. Now, I now wove the song into letting the people see that white men have taught us everything we know. But I made people see also that one important thing they taught us was politics. Because I wove in the song to the elections in Nigeria, because it was a farce. Now I mentioned democracy. Now in English, an Englishman will say democracy. But if the African man wants to say it in broken, he will say democracy. You see now. I now thought of the word. I said democracy. That's now I saw craziness. I said I could now see let my people see that democracy really is not that word, that is really madness, So I said, now I started to sing. I said, I start to think of this word democracy. Democracy. Crazy demo. Demonstration of grace. Crazy demonstration.
He also questioned why leadership in Africa keeps getting worse as days goes by, instead of getting better, and also went ahead to fault those who colonized Africa, that they are not fair to Africans.
Then I went a little bit serious, because I know that people will laugh at that when they hear that. Then I went a little bit serious. I said, if it's not crazy, why that in Africa, as time goes forward, things is getting worse. Poor man, they cry. Rich man, they mess. Democracy. Crazy demo. Demonstration of grace. Then I ended up, to fuck the minds of the colonialists up, I said, if good teacher teach something, if a good teacher teaches something, and a student make mistake, teacher must tell him that he's making mistake.
He was so interested in passing the message to the masses that he made sure his backup singers got it right.
Democracy, democracy, crazy demo, democracy, hold it, democracy. No, hi, I'm going to start to come out people. Democracy,
democracy.
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 Come on, you have to. After I don't teach yourself. Out.
Fela will always be a legend for contributing his part to the good of our society, while also serving us good music. Even though he died since August 1997, his music still sounds new and good to the ear, and still reflects what is happening in our society today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, follow, and like this video. Thank you.